Right, so it's been a minute and a half. What was I doing? Oh yeah, Asyut Minya. I suppose I should go back and do those missions on hard mode, but I really don't want to. Like, Icebreaker and Barbie Blue. That sounds like a bad idea. For reference, it's been like 2 months since the last episode, which makes sense considering the first episode isn't even out yet. Yes. Desert Wolf, Sandstorm Citadel, did all these. Internal Purge, Up in Flames, Dark Knight's March, did this, did that, did not do that. I think I did this. I did this. Did not do that. I think I did this. Can't remember. I'll assume I've done it. Also, I'm using the wrong AC because I was loading up this as a reference for a picture I'm working on. That probably, well, it's not finished now, but it probably won't be finished by the time I'm done uploading it. But look for that if I am. I'll probably put it in the description of the video. Maybe. Probably not, actually. Yeah, I was using White Glint as a reference, and since I don't have the proper AMS for it, or FCS, or whatever it's called, I don't have all the tuning points needed for it, so I had to use a proxy, where I was just loading up the frame. Because you have to have every single point in the game to use White Glint. Internal Purge. Oh, this one's... yeah. Also, I'm kinda sick, again, because this area fucking sucks and it's still winter. So that's fun. So yeah, there's all that. Oh, I'm gonna have to fight the Helix units, aren't I? I haven't played Armored Core in several months.
You can ignore any additional forces there. Stay safe. You're nearing the edge of the combat area.
Does that blow up? Not really. Which is weird because it's a refinery.
The enemy craft is loaded with firepower. Avoid a face-to-face shootout.
Oh hey, it's playing Thinker. Cool. I don't know if I mentioned it. I know I mentioned it in a recent Dark Souls video, the ones that haven't come out yet. But, yeah, Armored Core's music is actually in English. Like, this sounds like Japanese in the background, but I have checked. It is English. It's just gibberish. It doesn't actually mean anything. It's most complete sentences with random words in it. Because what they've done is they've taken the Japanese lyrics and they've given them a direct English translation in a case in which there is no direct English translation. So it's translated to a bunch of random words that are only very loosely connected to one another, but they still have mostly the same, like, sound and syllable count, and you can stretch them out with a Japanese, like, intonation, so that it sounds like it's in Japanese, but it is still actually a translation, technically. So yeah, no, I've checked. The song is in English, it's just a very, very, very bad translation. But it sounds good, so who cares? Ooh. I don't know why I was having so much trouble with this guy last time. I must have been taking too many risks. This is the safest way to fight this guy, unless you have sniper rifles. Or grenade launchers, but I don't like being cheap and just using the big AoE weapons. Only for when I'm fighting multiple ACs and I get a really good hit where they're like right next to each other. There we go. That didn't go too poorly. I was expecting that to be a lot more difficult. It's all about range on that guy.
Good work.
Because the bazookas and the explosive weapons are good up close or at a medium range, but at a long range they tend not to hit your target because they have a much slower projectile speed. Which is actually interesting because I don't think a tank round moves that slowly. I guess because the idea is that it's so massive that it can't possibly fire as quickly as a normal round.
You should get some rest now. Sleep well, soldier.
Blah. I love the Armored Core and the 4-answer ones, but I think part of the problem is they don't have, their missions aren't nearly as developed as the old school missions. They're a lot faster because they have to facilitate the new movement speed. And there's also a lot less, like, working with other Ravens and accomplishing, like, complex objectives. It's usually taking out a single target or a group of targets. It's nothing more complicated than that. So you miss a lot of the, like, nuanced storytelling that's in the other, games, and that kind of sucks. Like, it's a shame.
Let's confirm the
Also, I might just play a
Destroy
normal
all of
mode
the new
playthrough
large-scale
after.
weaponry being built at
This is going to come out in a weird
GA
order, because I think I'm
Arsenal.
going to upload a normal
The
mode
Hayden
playthrough
facility
first,
has announced it is
because I
leaving the
had
GA
Jack
group.
play through the
This
game on normal
operation
mode,
is a
and
matter
he
of
enjoyed it,
internal
and he had a lot of
house
fun, and we did talk about
The
some stuff, but
ex-GAE guards
we
should still
skipped
be in the
over a lot
facility,
of things,
but you
and
have
we didn't
clearance
really
to
show it
eliminate
off
them
very
if they
well.
endanger the
Also, the audio got
Keep in
cut
mind that
multiple
Aqua
times,
has supported the
and
Hayden
the
arsenal
entirety
for
of
some
me
time.
explaining the last part of the
Possible they've
mission
offered some
and
backup
like the
now
end
as
of the
well.
game got cut,
Those
and
are
I'm
your
kind of
orders.
angry about
We
that,
aren't
and I'm
sure
gonna have
what
to
it looks
re-explain
like in
it, and I
there.
don't really want to
Watch
do
your
it
step.
here. Although I am working on an Armored Core like pseudo analysis video essay documentary thing that's basically supposed to be a big explanation of the Armored Core stuff. And it's gonna go through like the timeline and talk about how they all work and everything. I'm trying to figure out how to get it where it talks about like as much detail as I want to express without being like overly saturated. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do like a preview, sort of skimming the surface on all the games before a
You're
like
after the three
in-depth
massive weapons
explanation of each
structure.
particular one.
I'll send you their positions
I'm not
from
certain
here.
how I'm gonna do it.
Let's get started.
Okay, so that doesn't stun you in this game. Nope. Ugh. Blade locking in this game is not strong.
Large-scale enemy squadron detected up ahead. Prepare to break through. Massive weapon destroyed. 2 objectives remain.
Hey, stop that. I didn't tilt the stick and you know it.
All non-combat personnel evacuate! Save yourselves! Get out of here!
Objective destroyed. 1 remaining. We haven't picked up any Aqua V forces so far. So much the better. Let's finish up this mission.
Next? Looks like GA is really out for blood.
All objectives successfully destroyed.
Oh,
Mission
really?
was a success.
Oh, am I playing on easy mode?
Please head back.
I'm a fucking moron. I didn't press X. I'm stupid. I was wondering why the last one wasn't so difficult. Ugh, whatever. Okay, time to do that again. And I did so well, too. Ugh. I'm not going to do Up in Flames again, because that one actually doesn't have any differences between the normal mode and hard mode. Minya just does more damage. Oh, and there's like 2 more missile carriers. But other than that, yeah, there's no difference between some of the missions on hard mode, just the damage percentages are increased or decreased. But this one does have a difference, and that's what I'm trying to show off. I'm trying to show off all the ones that are actually different.
I'll send
Blah.
you their positions from here. Let's get started.
So it wouldn't be very fair of me to just, like, skip it because I did well.
Hold on, combat personnel evacuate! Save yourselves! Get out of here!
That's your target. Massive weapon destroyed. 2 objectives remain.
Oh, shit. Ease up. Yeah, it can be a bit floaty sometimes in this game. Your character has a lot of momentum, which makes sense. They're really big.
Detected up ahead. Prepare to break through.
These things have the same weakness that Answerer has in 4 Answer,
1 remaining.
which is that if you fly to the top of them and hit them with a blade strike at the connection where the pillar meets the body, it will kill them instantly. And Answerer, that big pseudo-final boss, wait, wrong way. The pseudo-final boss that is in 4 Answer has the exact same weakness, so what you do is you use an ultralight frame, and you fly to the top of it, and you punch it with a physical blade, and it just explodes in 1 hit. And that's basically the only way to get S rank on that mission.
All objectives destroyed. Wait, it's a next? Unidentified next, closing in. Lafite? Oh, please. There's no objective there. Turn back.
Anyway, this person, in case it wasn't obvious, is from GA, the people who hired you, because they're trying to kill you to cover up their stupid heavy weapons project. And if I hadn't engaged her at close range, this would be a very different fight we're having, because she annihilates in these tight tunnels.
Enemy next primitive light termination.
She is
confirmed.
extremely
What's going
deadly,
on?
because she
This
has,
would mean that
I think those are pursuers on her back. It's a good thing those don't work in close quarters, or else that fight would have been over in 1 shot. The best weapon, the best missile unit in Dark Souls turned into one of the best spells, or not in Dark Souls, in Armored Core turned into one of the best spells in Dark Souls, because it got turned into, again, pursuers in Dark Souls 1, which then I think became Affinity in Dark Souls 2. Which, you know, that's also a cool name, but I like the keeping with the tradition of having it be named the same and everything.
Their research. They were driven by research, regardless of how dangerous it was. That's just the impression I get.
You know, it's one thing to be in love with your research, it's another thing for your research to be genocidal radiation guns. Seriously. I think the Sol Dios unit might have been responsible for 1/3 of Earth's, like, Kojima pollution. That's, like, horrible. Oh, ego boost. I really don't want to do ego boost. Fuck me. These are all really hard. This one isn't. This one's fine. This one's also fine. This one's fine. It just changes what units spawn. And that is mostly the same regardless. I'll start with Juggernaut. You know, this thing's a lot like a unit from...
We've confirmed an unidentified weapon in the gear tunnel. It's big, and it's headed for
Anatolia
fast.
fast.
I'm afraid we may be looking at a large-scale, highly
It's a
destructive
proto-arms
weapon.
fort.
There's no time. You have
It's
to
a,
intercept it. Please.
Mobile Fortress is what they were called in this game before arms forts were a thing. Leonhardt, he's a character in Dark Souls. He doesn't hold up to his noble, heritage, I guess, would be the word. I always wanted the model kit for Noblesse Oblige. I have one for Hoguire, which is the base mech he's, you know, based on, but I do not have one for Noblesse Oblige. I have one for White Glint, though, so that's cool. I also have Omer's Project Morpheus, but the freaking leg broke and I'm missing part of the head. So I should scrap it to make... Because I want to recreate the AC I use in the game. But the model kit, like, I would have to scrap about 6 model kits to do it. And I think some of the parts I use don't exist in model form. Oh, jeez. Is my primal armor not firing? This isn't working. Oh, I'm getting killed by his primal armor. That's a terrible idea. I don't think that happens on normal mode, because I remember using a physical blade on this guy, and he kicked his ass.
6 remaining barriers to defensive limits. Down 10%.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to use a different weapon. I don't think my weapons are strong against this guy. Also, he doesn't shoot that laser beam on easy mode. Or, I keep saying easy mode. Normal mode. Game default. But yeah, he doesn't do that on game default. But he does here, and that's a problem. What time is it? It's 12:30. Break the White Lance. I need to change my schematic. One of you has a grenade cannon on you. No. Well, I mean, you do, but you're not optimized, because I think I made you, like, what? A few years ago? Silver Ash. It's got the damage output, but I seriously doubt it's got the mobility.
We've confirmed.
Why is it holding a Kojima weapon? I don't, like... I've looked back at, like... Because I remember one of the things was I loaded up a memory card that still had one of my old saves from Silent Line on it, from, like, when that game came out. And mind you, I would have been, like, a very young child at that point.
You have to stop it here, please.
I have no freaking idea what I was doing in, the game at that point. Like, my armored core was all over the place. It's like when you load up a character in a, like, you create a character in a game like Fable or Skyrim or Fallout, and, like, it's been 10 years since you've played. Yeah, that was much easier. It's been 10 years since you played, and it's just, it looks awful. You have no idea what you were doing. But that's what happens with Armored Core when I go back and look at my old thing. Like, even to a small extent in this game, like, I get where I was going with this mech, but it's very strange. It's just some big old heavyweight. And somehow I've managed to incorporate cringe into fucking mech design. I don't understand how that's possible. Mechs are inherently awesome. To make a mech cringeworthy takes some kind of effort. I do like that because this is the first in the timeline, all of the stuff that would be normally, like, standard or, like, ancient by games like Armored Core 2 and 3 are brand new and shiny here. Sort of. You see, the thing about Ego Boost is that Ego Boost, like, it restricts your primal armor. You have to fight all of Bahrrat Squadron, and on hard mode, you have to fight, Atman. And he is a tough motherfucker. He's straight out of Armored Core 2, basically. He reminds me of Samsara. But he doesn't use plasma weapons, I don't think. But he jumps around a lot. And Samsara was a cunt. Oh man, I have bad memories of fucking, like, exploiting the shit out of the AI in fucking, Armored Core 2 so that I could get to the top of the arena. Because it's really hard. Armored Core 2 is one of the hardest ones.
Approaching enemy airship squadron confirmed. Prioritize that stealth jet's safety until it's off the
Oh,
ground.
right, it's the other one.
You'll also be unable to engage your primal armor until
Wait,
the
I don't need to
jet's
kill
in the
you. I
air.
need to kill you.
Intercept before they complete their descent. Hurry! You're nearing the edge of the combat area.
Wait. Yeah, okay.
Second enemy wave
Right, no
closing
primal
in.
armor.
They're at the storage facility. Intercept immediately.
You know, those are the Armored Core carriers from, Armored Core 3. And that just, like, those are, I think, the same size as the Armored Core carriers from Armored Core 3, which means that the Armored Cores, after Kojima energy disappears, get scaled down immensely. Because how tall is this Armored Core? Let's say that's a Chinook helicopter. So this Armored Core that's not actually a Chinook. It looks more like a Sea Knight, and it's not actually, it's much bigger than one would probably be. But, let's say that's about the size of a Chinook. So this is like, what? 40 feet tall? 60 feet tall if it's roughly
We've got
twice
an
the size?
emergency. Engine trouble has left the stealth jet grounded.
If that's roughly twice the
You'll have
size
to
of a Chinook,
eliminate
that's like
all
30 or
enemies
40 feet
while
tall.
protecting the jet.
That
means
means
no
that
primal
Armored
armor.
Cores and Armored Core
Exercise
3,
extreme
and
caution.
like, from Armored Core 1 onward, are maybe a quarter the size of this. And if we take Verdict Day into account, in which you get to directly compare a Gen 5 Armored Core to a
Next.
next.
Overboost engaged. It's fast. Prepare to intercept. Here it comes.
No second squad, or third squad.
I need to live up to that.
Atman's
Enemy
cool,
craft
even if he is a
identified.
giant dick.
Saw. The Wizard of Echelon.
Yeah, he's like Barbaroi, but a million times
Interpret them
tougher.
accordingly. Just make sure you come home to us safe.
But yeah, if we take Verdict Day into account, then a Gen 5 mech, which is roughly half the size of a Gen 3... Oh, shit. No, we're not.
Fourth enemy wave, now commencing descent.
You are the real problem.
Don't overdo it. You're full of openings.
Fuck, one got through. What was I saying? Oh yeah, a Gen 5 Armored Core is roughly half the size of a Gen 3. Shit. Flash rockets would be good against this guy. I should probably use them. Oh, wait, I'm not using Snowblind. Shit.
Don't overdo it. You're full of openings.
Didn't you say that line already? Shit. Ah, whoa, fuck. I forgot these aren't, like, in the water. They're just platforms that are floating.
Don't overdo it. You're full of openings.
Oh, that's in reaction to me boosting so much. That's cool.
Don't overdo it. You're full of openings.
I like that.
Don't overdo it. You're full of openings.
Stop that.
Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it.
Is he glitched?
You're full of openings. Don't overdo it.
Yeah, he's glitched. I thought that was in reaction to the boost, but not.
Don't overdo it. You're full of openings.
Okay, I've never encountered this glitch before.
You're full of openings.
Ow.
Full of openings. Don't overdo it. Go full of openings.
Huh.
So my journey ends halfway.
Sadana defeated. It's confirmed. Targets destroyed. The mission
That could have gone
was a
better.
success.
Anyway, like I was trying to say, a Gen 5 armored core is half the size of a Gen 3, and a Gen 3 is roughly a quarter the size of a Next, because a Gen 5 is only a little bigger than a tank. It's like twice the size of a forklift, I think, because there's a garage where you can directly compare how big it is, but then the tanks in the campaign are so tiny, so there's an artificial size difference that's been implemented. That means that tank would have to be the size of a smart car. Yeah, no, I don't care.
Glad you're all right. Let's go.
But yeah, that tank would have to be the size of a smart car. Because you fight, spoiler alert, you fight White Glint again in, Verdict Day, and you can directly compare how big your mech is to his mech. And his mech is actually slightly smaller than the original White Glint. So as a direct point of comparison, it's slightly muddied, but you can get a rough estimate on them. So, that means the Gen 5 armored cores are the smallest, as they are very tiny, and the Gen 4 Answer ones are the biggest, as they are somewhat large. I think they're comparable to the average Gundam. Like Barbatos from Iron-Blooded Orphans. What next? Don't really want to do this, because it sucks, but you know, whatever. I'm going to use a heavyweight if I'm going to do that one. Because, hey, rather than fight one Fermi mobile fortress, how about 3 with pinpoint accuracy? Why is Australia the one that gets the most security? Hell, if you planted like 3 of those outside Anatolia at the end of the game, I would have fucked off.
Of particular concern is Interior's latest
Yeah,
creation,
look at those
the aerial
normals.
fortress
I think those were
Fermi,
built by Omer.
which combines Meillee's large model laser cannons with a
Well,
primal
they're an
armor
affiliate of
mechanism.
Melee, so yeah, it is probably a fucking affiliate of Omer as well. Weird, for Omer not being the bad guys in this game, they sure are the bad guys in this game. And they're the bad guys in the next game too, sort of. Well, it's hard to say, because there are 3 different routes you can choose, so technically everyone can be the bad guy, including you. Like, if I beat hard mode tonight again, I'm debating whether or not I'm just going to go straight into doing Armored Core 4 Answer, because I'm kind of in the mood for it right now. Also, this bridge is very similar to a bridge that's in Verdict Day, not Verdict Day, 5, at the beginning of the game. It's extremely similar.
Keep your distance. Secure light sources around the Fermi and attack from afar.
Actually, this mech isn't terribly built. It's got a surprising amount of aerial domination.
Activity on the far shore. Enemy reinforcements.
Oh, 4, I forgot.
Fermi aerial fortresses confirmed. Be careful.
Where the fuck am I? I've never gotten stuck in this corner before. This place reminds me a lot of the city in Armored Core, I wanna say 3, with Appleboy, where you fight those terrorists. I wanna say it reminds me of that.
AP is down 50%. You're nearing the edge of the combat area. This can't be.
Wow! That was one shot! I had half health. Fuck me, okay. Jeez, that's rough. I don't think that's ever happened to me on that mission. Also, hi Joshua, you're the best, I love you. But yeah, damn, I don't think that's ever happened to me on that mission. Usually I'm less stupid, but, fuck. I didn't think their damage output was that high. I mean, it's Kojima weapons, so that makes sense, but I wasn't exactly expecting that. Unseal.
Your objective
He's part
is
of
the Fairby
Berlioiz's
aerial
squadron.
fortress.
Oh yeah, I'm
Optical
gonna have to do
lock-on
that, aren't I?
capabilities will be limited
That's
in
fine.
time.
I like that mission
Plan
anyway.
accordingly. Code
You know,
unit identified.
in Armored
You
Core
should be able to
3,
use
your
it
mech
to
has
secure
night
some
vision.
illumination. Destroy
That doesn't
it.
happen here. It's unfortunate, but I get it. Because they want night to be a factor in whether or not your mech can determine the enemy.
The enemy is armed to the teeth. Keep your distance. Secure light
Wilco.
sources around the
I mean,
Fairby.
not really. I
Attack
kind of
from
have to
afar.
get close. I don't have good radar. But, I'll take it into consideration at least. Why would they just have Kojima tanks lying around? Wouldn't that be extremely deadly? Like, for their own troops? Fuck. Why are you not hitting?
Destruction of aerial fortress confirmed. Activity on the far shore. Enemy reinforcements.
Like, yeah, why would they just have tanks like this? The city's gonna be unusable once I've captured it. Like, this will actually be, like, dangerous. Why would it be designed this way? I don't understand.
You're nearing the edge of the combat area.
I'm gonna back off for a minute. Huh, I've got a decent amount of primal armor. It's a shame that Kojima particles fucking ignore primal armor. Oh, there's an invisible wall there. I can't see shit. You're telling me that in a city like this, there's no ambient light pollution? I can see ambient light pollution from Chicago, and I'm fucking 2 hours away from it.
Nearing the edge of the combat area.
Well, less than 2 hours. 40 minutes on a good day. Oh, shit. Actually, if I took the train, it would barely be an hour. Whatever. The point is, I should be easier to see. Also, these explosions create no light in the environment. I know that's a technical issue rather than a gameplay issue, but it's still annoying.
You're nearing the edge of the combat
Fuck off.
area.
Do they have jammers? This was actually a pretty bad mech decision
You're
for
nearing
this
the edge of
mission.
the combat area.
If I run out of ammo, I'm gonna be very upset with you.
The Fairby aerial fortress is gone
Hey!
silent. The mission was a success.
Ugh.
Good work. Please head back.
Oh, shut up. Still dying. Good to know. Although that may or may not actually be true. I should go see a doctor.
I'm glad you're alright.
Fuck off. Why does this look like those pods from Armored Core 2 if we're not in space yet? I think as of Armored Core 5, or no, as of Armored Core 4 Answer, there's no large-scale space development. There are those assault batteries in 4 Answer, but those get blown up so people can go into space. Which is how... I'll explain it a bit more thoroughly later, but okay. Armored Core 4 starts after World War III, essentially, and all of the major countries are dissolved, and various corporations that funded the war effort rise in their stead. Armored Core 4 takes place after the National Dismantlement War, which is... People thought for a long time was the Raven War from Last Raven, which is not, because several things that were in the Raven War don't exist in this game, and that wouldn't really make sense. And a lot of the standard technology base is closer to what would have been possible maybe like 80 years after current time. Not like the crazy bullshit that they have in Last Raven. Oh yeah, I forgot I was fucking around with an all-energy mech at some point. But yeah, no, and then in, what was it? In this game, it's the Lynx War, so those newly formed corporations, or at least the newly risen corporations, are fighting for dominance over the various next technologies that exist. And, you know, you have all the corporations fighting each other, but they're not fighting for any particular reason other than they want to be the leading corporation who you know, is in charge and whatever. So that happens. Then during this struggle, they fuck up the planet so badly with Kojima poisoning that it becomes almost unlivable in large portions of the environment. So they go, okay, this needs to stop, and they build a bunch of gigantic floating cities called the Cradles that are, like, basically, you know when they launched that Wi-Fi for Africa thing, they had those floating, like, drone planes that were basically big Wi-Fi hotspots? Imagine those, but, like, 800,000 times bigger. That's what the Cradles are. Also, they're filled with people, not internet. Yeah, so they did that. And then they built a bunch of arms forts to defend the Cradle, or the Arteria systems, which somehow beam energy into the Cradles, despite that not making any sense. You either defend the Arteria facilities and watch the planet slowly choke to death on radiation. If you play the League path. If you play the Orca path, you commit mass genocide in order to save the rest of humanity by shooting them into space. If you play the Monster path, you just kill everyone because you're a sadistic fuck. But the canon ending, supposedly, is the Orca ending, where people go into space. However, because the corporations are dicks and they don't give a shit about normal people, they send everyone on the Cradles into space and leave everyone who's currently on the planet to fend for themselves. These become the people you see in 5 and Verdict Day. Because there is a notable presence of the corporation, or the Foundation as it's later referred to in Verdict Day, in space, who have all the cool space technology and they still use Kojima tech. But then you have all the people on Earth who don't know how the fuck Kojima tech works or how to manufacture anything, so they're all using beat up normals with small improvements from mechs that have been found throughout the years. So that's how you get the mechs that are in 5, who are, like, notably downgraded from Nexts, because they're literally just retrofitted normals with Next technology. So none of them use Kojima particles, they can't boost around like crazy. And they're also in a war-torn, fucked up hellscape, because everyone's fighting for the, because the world, Armored Core 1 talks about the Great Destruction, which was a war that brought ruin to the majority of the surface, and some people went into space and some people went underground. Layered, or whatever, doesn't have a name in the first game, it's just underground, but it is clearly layered, because in Armored Core 3, you're in an area that's almost exactly the same, although it is clearly in the future, because it's after Armored Core 2. So then you have Layered that's being constructed roughly, I would say, in between Armored Core 4 Answer and 5. And then you have the people who went into space, who did the thing on the moon, and they built that giant space station that's basically the Death Star. They're the Foundation, because you can unlock that garage that it tells you a little bit more about the Foundation. And it's very clear that it is, like, in space, using Kojima tech. You can see it's all over the place. And that it is one of the previous companies from Armored Core 4, because if you look out the window, you can see Armored Core 4 generation normals flying by next to scavengers and the ships that are very similar to the ships in Armored Core 2, along with something that resembles an arms fort. And those normals look a lot like Omer normals, and considering that they're focused on Kojima tech, and the Foundation Man bears a striking resemblance to CeeLo, and because AI technology and transference into AI, also known as the fucking what is it, singularity or whatever, is a big thing in Armored Core. It's a theory of mine that CeeLo or someone like him from Omer was the person who was turned into the AI that is the Foundation Man, or Super Hiroshi, or whatever the fuck he is. Because he's clearly a robot, considering you kill him about 9 times and he comes back, and he's even like 100 years later, he's still around in Verdict Day. So, I think either Omer, or Omer having absorbed the remnants of Ray Leonard, because Ray Leonard was big on the Kojima technology, has, after the dissolution of the League, or the League fucks off to who knows where, becomes the Foundation, because they were always the ones fucking around with everyone. Alternatively, it could be Espina, because Espina was big on turning people into cyborgs and AI, because that was the whole thing. Like, they had that essentially supernatural grasp of AMS technology, because Joshua O'Brien has the highest recorded AMS capacity in the 4 series, next to Cube and I think Transient Light from 4 Answer, because Cube is literally a cyborg. It's implied that he is an AI instead of a cyborg, but yeah, it's a whole big thing, because there's always the whole, like, in nearly every Armored Core game, there's a big, like, message about, like, is technology better than man, and, you know, like, have we gone too far and all of that, and there's usually something about people turning themselves into robots. Like, that was a big thing in Armored Core, like, even back as far as Armored Core 1, because you find out Nineball is an AI, and he's the best Raven. But he's also, like, a completely emotionless drone. Probably. Anyway, what was I talking about?
Let's confirm the mission. Attack Leonie.
But yeah, you can see there are points in which the various games link together, and I'll dive deeper into that when I finally put out that fucking video I've been working on for like 2 months. I have very little work done with it, because not only do I have to record a bunch of footage from the various games that matches up to whatever the hell I'm saying, I actually have to script out my dialogue, and as you can tell, I'm not particularly good at that. Whenever I script out my dialogue, it always ends up sounding very forced or cringy and stupid, and I'm not gonna ad-lib the fucking entire plot of Armored Core, because that would be just as hard as trying to do Dark Souls or whatever. Like, as I just explained, I can remember a fairly large portion of it off the top of my head, because I've played an absurd amount of these games, but, like, especially if I was doing the original series, my memory fades the further back in the series I go. Not in the timeline, I mean, like, the actual release dates. So, like, I remember Armored Core 1 pretty well, I remember 2 pretty well, I remember 3 pretty well, Silent Line, Nexus, I'm less familiar with. Which is weird, because... Jesus Christ. I replayed Nexus like a month ago. But yeah. I'm not as familiar with Ninebreaker, because I didn't play a lot of Ninebreaker, because Ninebreaker's hard as balls. And Last Raven, my memory just falls apart. As much as I love Last Raven, it's probably one of the best... Okay, Armored Core 4 Answer... 2, Last Raven, I think, are in competition for which is the best Armored Core game. My gut response is to say 2, but Last Raven might edge out, because I think there's just more to Last Raven than there is to 2. So, most people, I think would say Armored Core Last Raven, but my memory falls apart in regards to that game. I remember the first, like, 2 hours or so, and after that, my memory is just completely shot. I think it's because I was in a very, like, bleh kind of state when I first played Armored Core Last Raven. Because when did that come out? 2005? That would have been when I first got an Xbox. A little after Halo 2 had come out, so I would have been doing a lot of that. And I would have been in a very, like, strange position. I don't know. Whoa, shit. I picked the wrong mech to fucking deal with a mobile fortress. This is bullshit. Shit. Oof. I wanna, I'm working on getting a 3D printer. Like, I've got my one for, like, desktop printing. That's just, like, it's basically a proof of concept system. Jeez. Domed. Ow. But, I have my proof of concept one. But I need one, because I think the max it can do is, like, it could print something the size of a chess piece. Maybe a tube of chapstick. Nothing too major. It's mostly just to be like, hey, did you get the model right? But I want one that can print at a minimum 200 millimeters. This should be 2 of those. 200 millimeters, because that would be about the size of your standard action figure. Because that's 6 inches.
Let's confirm
Roughly.
the mission.
It's somewhere between
Attack
6 and 7
Leonie
inches.
Mechanicus
Anyway, the point is,
cyclical.
hey, I fought you earlier. You're awesome. But yeah, the point is, my brain is destroying itself. I'm very tired, in case you hadn't noticed. Which is weird, because I only got up, like, an hour ago. Because I work night shifts, so I don't need to give a fuck about sleeping during the day.
Through the base level. AP is down to 50%.
Holy shit. This was a mistake. Also, what song is this? This isn't Panther, is it? No, Panther has electric guitar in it. This is... What is it? This is not... I have them all on my phone. I can just look it up after this. This is one of my favorite songs in the entirety of the game. I don't know. I think Adam might be my favorite. Adam's the one that plays during the credits. Adam is great.
All objectives eliminated.
It has one of the most amazing, like, piano riffs I've ever seen. It's fucking
Enemy
awesome.
aerial fortresses.
I love Adam.
Take them down.
Hey, oh, shit. Stop it. Bastard. Why do I have to take them down? My objective is to destroy Megalis. Why would I give a shit about their fucking mobile fortresses? This is so stupid. I wonder, do flash rockets work? Ow. Well, I guess we'll never know. Fine. I'll do it your way. Ow. Time to make a new AC. Right. Head. Which of you has the highest defense against Kojima? Yeah, but you look so dumb. That's the head CeeLo uses. CeeLo can go to hell. Judith. That's very similar to a character in Armored Core 2 who betrays you super hard. High-end defense, but I don't know. These all kind of suck, actually. This is the only one that has better, like, defense in what I'm trying to... But it looks so dumb! No, I refuse. Does it not say how many rounds it has? That seems counterintuitive to me. Which of you has the highest KP output? You. High impact parts. High KP output, not particularly. Oh, you. Oh, your EN capacity is fucking terrible, but your recharge rate is not terrible, actually. Huh. Alright. Jeez, wow. I always liked these things. I don't know why. In 4 Answer, they're flares, not ECM. I don't know, would ECM even help me here? That's really for AC v AC combat. And you can't use those with... Alright. Manual. Wait, hold on. Remove all. Wow, I'm actually fairly well balanced. Interesting. Oh, right, I have to do it this way. How is that on the front? Whatever, I don't care. Manual, capacity, KP output, load, PN capacity. Wait, there's an attack. Aim precision. EN weapon skill. That's... Yeah, hold on. Ah, shit. No, stop it. Bastard. Primal armor, rectification. Let's drain that. Put it into EN weapon skill. Mobility, turning ability. Turning ability is pretty important. Lock speed. I wish you got more FRS memory throughout this game. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Let's start with a base coat. Yeah, it's a bit too close to A-Pool for my tastes. I already did the tan thing. I could make it look a bit like Beast from 4 Answer. That's not bad. Sure. cozy. Yeah, I like that. And I'm not going to bother to change my emblem. It doesn't appear on this anyway. Yeah, that works. And I essentially have infinite money, so who cares about the cost? Actually, I should probably test this, but hey, you know, you learn best from experience.
Let's confirm the mission. Attack.
I don't remember how to use Kojima weapons at all in this game. I used to use them in 4 Answer because they were really good against ACs, so I'd use them. I remember the very first time I ever beat White Glint, I fucking, we were both out of ammo for nearly everything. I think he had a few rounds left in his rifle, and I had 1 round left in my Kojima weapon on the back. So what happened was, oh jeez, I have 0 energy. This was a mistake. But yeah. I had like 1 round left in my Kojima weapon, and he had a few rounds left in his rifle. And I fucking, we both like fucking boosted at each other. And I got the shot on him. And that was what killed him. And it was the best. Fuck me. Yeah, I should have fucked around with the generator. This kind of sucks. Ugh, great. Well, at least that works. Oh, shit. Don't stand under those things. You'll die super hard. Really? Oh, and I didn't change the pattern back on those. I'll have to remember to do that. How did that not blow you up? It's playing a different song.
All objectives eliminated. Massive enemy signatures overhead. Fermi aerial fortresses. We can't pull out like this. Take them down. Entering fixed laser cannon range. You're in danger.
How did that not
Your
kill you?
altitude to avoid fire.
This is very stupid.
AP is down 50%.
Ugh. This is dumb. I should have gotten the flares that shake off to the side. This generator wasn't so terrible.
AP down 10%.
Fuck me, huh? Question. You've seen the difference anyway. It's just that it has the fucking Fermi. There's no other difference. No ACs show up. I really want, like, I should have planned this out a bit better. What I wanted to show off was all the AC fights that you miss if you don't play on hard mode. Which is a lot, actually. I would say roughly half of them. Let's do this one first.
Let's confirm the mission. Eliminate Ultra's next. Critique, which has taken over GA's Dornier mining station. Critique's pilot, Sharing, is number 14. He's one of the 26 links from the National Dismantlement War. An original. Sharing is a world apart from the irregulars you've faced so far. Look out for Critique's high-power energy cannon in particular. Those are your orders. Come home to us.
He's using the Kurosawa, although it's not called that in this game for some reason. It's called the Canopus. Not sure why. Maybe there was a copyright thing. Because the Kurosawa is based off a gun from Evangelion, I think. But that's more paying homage than a direct ripoff. It's called something different and it functions differently. It's just the visual design that looks similar.
Target fixed. That's the enemy next. Critique. He's in the central facility. Destroy
Fuck
him.
me.
You're up against an original.
Fuck off. Oh shit, you're...
Combat area.
Oh, forgot about that. Shit.
You're nearing the edge of the combat area.
Damn it, Joshua. You're so strong. I love you. But god damn it.